Well, well. So we're doing a review, an overview of the Brahmaviharas this week, of all the Brahmaviharas, in a general sense. Can't get enough of those Brahmaviharas. Really, they're so central. They're so important. They're so important in the practice. They're so important in our life, in our lives, yeah. And these qualities of heart, these four qualities of heart. Uh, they, I guess originally the Brahmaviharas, Brahma was a god, a Hindu god actually, who had four faces. And they're the four faces of the heart, like the four compasses, unit points, that each face a different aspect, one of the Brahma Viharas, yeah, the Brahma Viharas. Mm, mm, yeah. And the Brahma Viharas are part of our nature. They're part of our neurology. And we are wired. We're pack animals. We're mammals. And we have an affiliative part of our nature. We know this. We have an affiliative part of our nature. Now, it's not always in full bloom, right? It's not always available to us for a number of reasons. One of them is that we're not only affiliative beings, obviously. We also have greed and anger and a lot of selfing going on in there. As Hobbes said, we're also creatures who are nasty, brutish, and short. Mm? Yeah. And and we have the affiliative side of our nature, but sometimes it's overrun or dominated by the aggressive, fearful, needful, self-oriented parts of our nature. Yeah. Mm. So even though we could say, oh, well, if we already have them, why do we have to cultivate them? Because they're not in the forefront so much of the time. Uh, Kind of obvious, right? It's not so. If it's not there, it's not there. If it's not there, it's not manifest. If it's not manifest, then it's under the surface. And so much of this practice is bringing forward what is there, but often buried or somewhat buried, to the light, to the present moment, to the present situation, to the present situation. And to access the Brahmaviharas, we don't need a profound level of concentration. Uh, mm. We simply have to remind ourselves, first of all, it can be very helpful just to remind ourselves, because we've experienced all four of the Brahmaviharas in our lives. It can be so helpful. It can be just so helpful. Go, oh, right. Oh, yeah, right. Of course, I've experienced metta, friendliness. Of course, I've experienced compassion. Of course, I've experienced joy, and I've experienced joy in someone else's joy. Of course, I've had moments there, and of course, I've experienced equanimity. Just not as much as I'd like, maybe, or it's just not. They're not on call all the time, right? Yeah, that's why we cultivate them. That's why we just want to more of the time make them be more of our lives. We want to have access to them. And it's not just to the feelings, not just so that we can feel the feelings. The whole point of the Brahmaviharas is to love. They're all about loving in various ways, depending on the situation. Yeah. And it can be very simple. Susan and I access them every day in one way or another. We all do a little bit here and there. It's just that we don't remind ourselves of that. That's what gratitude practice is about at night. Oh yeah, come to think of it, I did love today. I was compassionate today. I was friendly today. Now, but we experience them every day with our cats, for example. We spend time with our cats, and they're amazing creatures, right? They're amazing creatures. We feel friendliness, we metta toward them all the time. They're amazing. We feel metta toward them, and we feel compassion when there's a little bit of a squabble or something's going on there, where their feathers get ruffled. Yeah, yeah. We feel mudita when we see them, grooming each other and cuddling with each other. Sometimes very shortly after they've just had a little tussle. It's kind of amazing. And we feel equanimity with cats being cats. They got all their cat nature. It's like just being even with all of it and not too reactive to much of any of it as well. It's just like that. It's not like they're these foreign, they're not foreign. They're not foreign to us. They're just not predominant for most of us for a fair amount of the time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so we bring them forward. We bring them forward in our practice. Yeah. In meditation, and we can practice them, of course, in formal meditation as well. In formal meditation, it can be helpful to bring forth, I want to practice friendliness. Never mind that. And never mind the phrases. If they're helpful, great. If they're great. But it can be just really helpful to bring to mind the last time you were really friendly. We really experienced metta. Just basic, real, straight up kindness and warmth and friendliness, either toward yourself or to someone else. Just bring it forward. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is there. That is there. And then stay with that feeling a little bit. Let that develop. Stick around with it. Let it come, let it come forward. And then once you've accessed it, letting it be there a bit. Same with compassion. Same with mudita. Touch into a time when you have experienced compassion strongly. That was you. That wasn't someone else. We have that. It's part of all of our natures. Yeah. Bring it forward. Oh, right. Oh, I guess I am a compassionate person sometimes. Well, let's not focus on the sometimes part of it. Let's focus on, but let me bring it forward now. Let me bring it forward now. Just the memory of that, bring it forward. Bring it forward, and then hang with it a bit. Let it bloom a bit. Oh, right. Why? Because we want to get better at accessing it when we need it. Yeah? We want to access it when we need it. Of course, we have to be mindful to access it as well, obviously. Yeah. Another time I find it come forward in an interpersonal situation is when I'm listening. When I'm listening to someone and not preparing the next thing I'm about to say, or not so much like rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat speed speech. You know how we do that? We do that naturally. We're so used to speaking quickly back and forth with each other that there's no time for any of the Brahmaviharas to really show up in too much. There's pressure and there's speed and I'm already multitasking. I'm already in this conversation. It's rapid fire. If I just slow it down and listen to the other person, say what they have to say, I can start to feel metta pretty quickly. Oh, oh. And depending, they might be, if they're sharing something even just a little bit vulnerable, the compassion is right. I don't need to say something right away. You know, we do that. It's a habit. I've got to respond quickly. Got to let you know I hear what you're saying immediately. You know, that actually cuts off some feeling, you know, check it out. You know, it's easier to feel mudita. Oh, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to feel equanimity. Sometimes just this one simple thing, listening more, slowing down our response in an interaction a little bit more, and really just taking in what the other person is offering, what they're saying and what they're offering before jumping in, can start to access in a very simple way. There's moments of Brahmavihara in different ways. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So basically, just beginning to see these as not foreign, and practicing so that they become more available, more accessible, more of the time. It's for our own benefit, and it's for the benefit of others. You know, it's a protection for ourselves and for others. The cultivating of Brahmaviharas, right? It works both ways. Huh? It's so helpful. It's so helpful. We need them even more during this time, during this time of chaos and confusion and uncertainty. Well, so let's keep cultivating our hearts. It's why we want to spend as much time as we do on the Brahmaviharas. Yeah, yeah. Because yes, we have them, but it's also true that other things occlude and they get pressed down. Somehow there are other important things more than the heart. Really, what are they? Of course, there are other important things, but those things can be done with heart as well. You know, most of them. So we just want to keep leaning in this direction together. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention. And let's practice together. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And when you're ready, beginning to slow down, lightly closing the eyes. Hmm. And as you begin to settle in, and maybe bringing a little friendliness right here at the beginning. Yeah. Hey. Just tuning in to what's already going on. In a kind way, as you begin to settle in and get comfortable with the breath. And bringing a caring attention into the inner environment of your practice. As if you were attending to your experience through the lens of caring. Softening. And welcoming. The last few minutes of the meditation, settling back a bit more, softening a bit more.
Thank you so much for your practice. I'm stopping the recording, giving